Hello everybody, welcome to Gallery Night and to Sprout Coworking. My name is Eran Fraenkel and I have the pleasure and the honor of having a solo show here at Sprout Coworking for the month of September. And thanks to Kelly Brown, who is here making this video, I get a chance to walk you through this exhibit for all of those who can't make it to the gallery either tonight or for the rest of the month when the show will be up. So, welcome, and we can start by taking a look around and seeing what's on the walls. This show is basically a mini retrospective, which is kind of an odd thing to say for somebody who's only started making art in 2008. That's still 13 years. And what you see around you are images that are colored pen, alcohol ink marker, acrylic paint markers, and acrylic paint. I started doing these particular ones rather recently here in Providence, and I'm the kind of artist who, once he gets some idea, tends to work it and work it and work it and work it until it kind of works itself out. That hasn't happened yet, so there are new pieces that are not framed and not in this show yet. So what I do is, none of these is pre-planned, and I start by making the outside skeletal shape in pencil, and then I make the inside skeletal shapes like the bones in pencil. When I'm done with that, I will take markers of various sorts and pens of various sorts and start filling in the design, all of which is done freehand. So the different kinds of color, different kinds of pen give you different effects. Some of them are more transparent, some of them are denser colors, some of them you can lay over one another, some of them only blend, or some of them only actually overlap at the borders where they meet. But that gives you and gives me all kinds of opportunities to play with color and to play with the juxtaposition of color, which is really fun. Now this one that Kelly is looking at right now is one of the early ones that I did in this series, where I just started to play with shades of brown and black and gray. So I didn't jump into a lot of colors right away. I have to say, and you'll see in a moment, that what I used to do before this and had done a lot of are just black and white pen and ink drawings. So working from black and white to black and brown and gray and white was a natural progression. And so this is one of those early ones. But once I started with varieties of variations on brown and black and gray, the next step for me was to try other colors. And once I tried other colors, there was really no end. Over here on this wall, we have one of my drawings in sphere. And I have done a lot of work in spheres. Spheres to me both are a finite shape, but also infinite. So whatever you do, it never ends because it's a circle. And it's really fun to work in it because eventually all the parts just float in this sphere, but yet it's a shape that has a specific dimension to it. And I've done a lot of work with pen and ink in spheres as well. I'm not sure that there are any in this exhibit. This one actually was bought online, so I have a sale, which is also always nice. What I like about color, and people have really responded to the color, is that unlike the black and white, you have the dimension of variety of color. And I understand why people react to it. I mean, I love working in color. What I'm hoping for, and you'll see in the black and white drawings, is that the color doesn't take away from the design. I think, color just attracts your eyes because it's bright, it's vivid, it jumps off the page because it's in color. It's like looking at a color photograph and saying, oh, what a beautiful sunset, or what a beautiful image. And then you see a black and white image and you say, my God, the content of the image is just so moving. I'm not reacting to the color, I'm reacting to the content. I'm not reacting to the beauty, I'm reacting to what the photographer saw when he or she took that picture. And it's the same thing with the drawings. We'll see with the black and white that there's really the emphasis on design rather than on color. This one that Kelly is looking at now, I hope you can see it, is an older piece that I did when I was living in Barcelona, and there's some more in the other room. This one it's hard to see from a distance. We've got a better idea in the other room. So you can see that these nude pictures are not the first time I've worked in color. But the difference is in the techniques and in the materials that I use. So if we walk this way, we start walking backwards in time a little bit, and we'll see some of the black and white drawings, pen and ink, straight into ink and pen on paper, that I used to do a lot of before, here in Providence and when I was living abroad. As I said, none of these is pre-planned. I sit down with a pencil and I start, and if I like the outline that I've drawn, then I will continue to develop it and work on the exterior and the interior design of each piece. This series that Kelly is showing you now is a series of about 15 that are the same dimension. So you see there's a certain consistency in the design that moves from, in my mind, when I look at them, from left to right across the page. It's interesting to know how the dimensions of the surface you're working on help determine the image that you produce, or that I produce. So given the rectangular shape of the paper, it resulted in a series of images that, in my mind, all flow in a direction. They're not static. Each one of these is done freehand with an India ink pen, more than one depending on the size of the nib. So, some finer, some thicker, to be able to get different thicknesses of lines. Okay. So here, we're moving back in time a little bit more. So some more black and white pen and ink. But here on the walls, we've got 4 pieces from my time in Barcelona. So, what's involved here is, again, producing the external skeletal shape in pencil, and then producing the internal lines, the lines that define every internal shape, just the lines in pencil. When I'm done with that, I'm happy with it, I will go over those lines in pen. When I have the pen skeleton done, each of the internal shapes is filled in with pastel pencil. So you see that the paper is white. In this case over here to the right, the paper is black. This might actually be more interesting to look at because the paper is black. This is recycled paper, by the way, sold as art paper in Barcelona. So the paper is black, but the background of each individual shape is done with pastel pencil. And then, when that's done, I take acrylic paint and produce all of the designs on top of that. Now people ask me, how do I do it? I don't know if I should reveal my secret, but it's fun. So what I do is I take acrylic paint, and I take a toothpick, and I dip the toothpick in the paint, and I produce all of these pointillistic designs with a toothpick.
next one? Or do you
So
want
yeah, let's go to these. These are really pointillistic paintings. They're much simpler, but the idea is the same. You know, produce an outline and then go over the outline and fill in the design. In this case, it's just pointillism, so it's just dots. And this last one is the same idea. So a little denser, but it's the same idea. Kind of like mosaic or faience. And finally, we have some of the more recent black and white images that I've drawn here in Providence. That led to my starting to work in color. So again, these are all done freehand, outlining the shapes in pencil and then working with pen over that once I'm happy with the skeletal shape. As you can imagine, it takes time to do this. So it's fun doing some that are not as dense an image as the others. And then you'll see the other two that are hanging on the other wall, what happens when you start making really dense images. But to go back to the point I made before, to me, the beauty of looking at the black and white is that you're really focused on the design rather than the color. And I can't say that I prefer one to the other, although I have to say that I prefer black and white photography to color photography. But with drawings, there's a different kind of beauty to each one. So on this final wall, we have two of the more complicated ones. This one on the right. Let's start with the one on the left, and this is the grand finale over here. So this one over here. Same idea, same technique, same style. Pencil first, and then pen and ink to produce the final drawing. What's interesting also, I mean, you don't necessarily see this in the video, but there are different shades of black, depending on which kind of pen you use. There's brown black, there's black black. It's hard to see sometimes, but it helps give the drawing a little bit of variation in the shades of black that are produced. Now, none of these, the Barcelona colored pictures, color drawings, are part of a series that I call Dreamcatcher. So there's Dreamcatcher 1, 2, 3, 4. Most of these others don't have a title. This one does. This one of my favorite artists is Escher, whose drawings are just, they're not drawings, they're actually prints, are phenomenal in the detail and in the warping of perception. If you don't know about Escher, look him up. So this one didn't start off to be kind of an homage to Escher, but it is. And I call it Escher Visits Isfahan, Isfahan being a city in Iran that has some of the most amazing examples of Persian architecture. And to me, this is looking almost aerially down into the interior of a Persian palace or mosque in Isfahan. But given that it's Escher, the lines don't go where you expect them to. So if you were there, you'd be wandering around trying to find out where you were and where you're trying to get to. So it's Escher Visits Isfahan. And again, this is all freehand and took a very long time to do. So that's the show at Sprout. Thank you, Kelly, for the video. It's going to go up tonight, so those of you who can't make it to gallery night tonight, can see the video. Kelly will tell you where, I suppose. The show is open till the end of the month. Sprout is open from 9 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. You can walk in. It's advised that you bring a mask. I just got my booster shot, so I feel pretty healthy. And you're welcome to come in during normal business hours at Sprout to see the show. Sprout is located in the Rising Sun Mills on Valley Street in the Olneyville district of Providence. So thank you. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you come, and please support the arts in Providence. We artists, the arts organization, the arts community in Providence really needs your support for us to continue doing what we do. So please come support us. Thank you.